I saw this going around on Twitter, so I wanted to ask you, Nick, and then I'll give my response.
I did not have sex with that woman in that office.
When's the first time you remember watching TNA? People were asking this. I saw this on Twitter. People were saying, hey, TNA's been around for a while now. They're starting to get a little better now that Jeff Jarrett's back in charge. What's your first memories, and how did you find TNA back in the day when they were first starting out? Or did you find them once they were on because people don't remember, they were on Fox Sports Net for a while before they were Fox Sports 1 and stuff, when they were they had the regional channels for Fox Sports, and then they were on Spike. So when did you first find TNA?
I first found TNA probably 2006.
Wow, way late in the game.
I found them 2006 because my friend had an Abyss mask, and I was like, "What the f are you wearing?" He's like, "I thought you would have known. You like wrestling." I'm like, "Okay, he's not in WWE, so that's the only thing that's real."
That's not a Mankind or Kane mask.
Yeah, no. And he was just like, "You should check out this thing right here." And I asked my brother about it because my brother knew everything about wrestling. He was like, "Yeah, it's called TNA." And then one night it was on and we watched it, and I was like, "This is pretty cool." I mean, it's not WWE, so this is why I like it.
Right.
Yeah.
See,
that's how I found it.
I found TNA. I don't remember the exact year. It was either 2002 or 2003.
I like how we're acting like it's a religion. Like, I found TNA.
I was probably
12.
13. Let's see, I was born in 89.
Old
13, 14 probably when I found it.
Nice. Good year.
And it was 11:30 at night, I think it was. I couldn't sleep. I had a little 13-inch TV in my room with just an antenna. So I'm flipping through the channels late at night, and I come up, I passed Fox, I passed NBC, I passed ABC, and then there's this one, you get random channels on your antenna. And I came up, it was channel 32. It wasn't a major name channel or anything. And there was NWA Wildside on, and they had AJ Styles on that. I hadn't seen AJ Styles before, and so I watched that, and I'm like, oh, this is kind of cool. And then after that, at midnight, was an episode of TNA Explosion with Mike Tenay and Don West, and what it was recapping the last week's Wednesday night weekly pay-per-view show that TNA used to do. If you don't remember, when TNA first started, they were every Wednesday night for $9.99 on pay-per-view. And what this show was, I think it was Explosion, which they still kind of do now. It was a recap show. It was a half an hour recap of that hour show they used to do on Wednesdays. I found that at 11:30, 12 o'clock at night on a Saturday night, and I really enjoyed it. And were all these guys that I, for the most part, hadn't seen before. There was a couple, WWE, WCW guys that I recognized. And I was just, started staying up late. I'd, tell my parents, oh, I'm going to bed. And then I'd set my little alarm clock in my room to wake me up 11:30, and I'd watch TNA, the little recap show. And I just fell in love with it. And then once I found out, hey, these guys are on Fox Sports Net, I have that channel on my DirecTV. So I started watching that. And then that's around the time they got Jeff Hardy the first time. And then they went to Spike, and I started watching then. And then probably around the time they exited Spike is when I slowly started to fade out of TNA. But that early TNA stuff, I almost liked a little better than a lot of the WWE stuff they were doing.
Oh, for sure. For sure. They had it down, dude.
Yeah, when they had, AJ was when AJ was going back and forth between the X Division and the World Title picture, when Samoa Joe first came in, and he was this guy that was doing high flyer stuff that you couldn't, you didn't think he would be doing, corkscrews over the top rope to the outside because of his size. You had Bobby Roode and Eric Young with Scott D'Amore in Team Canada. Raven was in there. Monty Brown. Rhino was a challenger for the title. Jeff Jarrett was the top guy, and I loved back then when Jeff Jarrett was the NWA TNA champion. So, I saw that question going around, so I thought I'd ask you when you first found TNA.
Well, thank you. They found me, and they enlightened me.